Good evening. I am Dr. Latorial Faison. This year, the Association for African American Life in History has deemed as the national theme for Black History Month, Black resistance in the past, present, and future. Black resistance has taken many forms throughout history, and as the late Congressman John Lewis once said, never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. This year, I published The Miseducation of the Negro. This book and this research has a lot to do with what African Americans experienced in the past educationally and socially. I wanted to take the time to revisit Black segregated education in the South, but also to focus on a school in an area in which I grew up in. Southampton County. The Negro school that was in Southampton County was Riverview High School. Among others, there was Hayden High School in Franklin and several others in surrounding communities. I took that as an opportunity to do some teaching and some research and to provide some scholarly output on a time that many people do not really like to go back and take a look at. In keeping with the theme, Black resistance in the past, present, and future, going to school in the segregated Jim Crow era was an act of resistance. Getting educated is an act of resistance. And so my message this year is to all people, to people of all ages, to continue to resist. We know that Dr. King, his mission and his aim and his intent was civil rights and human rights for all. And he did so with methods of nonviolence. In today's world, our students, our young people, our citizens need to be more civically engaged. And what we need to know and what we need to teach is that there are various ways to be civically engaged. One of the ways that I am civically engaged is to write. I've been writing since I was a kid. And it was my privilege and my honor to be able to study, to do the research, to conduct a research study, to find out what the perceptions of African Americans who attended Black segregated schools in the Jim Crow South were. It was my privilege and my honor to be able to come home and do research in my hometown. And so hopefully this research will be shared and will be, distributed at universities and libraries, wherever you live and wherever you are. Please, please, please call your local libraries and ask them to adopt this book and purchase this book, The Miseducation of the Negro. It is an examination of the Black segregated education experience in Southampton County. And I will say that one of the reasons that prompted me to do the research, whenever you do scholarly research or write a dissertation, you're really trying to address some critical issues in society. I wanted to address some critical issues in education. One of the issues that I wanted to address is an issue that has always been, and it hasn't disappeared, the issue of achievement gaps for African American students, and not just African American students, but minorities. So that was the first issue that I wanted to try to find some resolutions to with this research. The second issue that I wanted to address with my research is the lack of culturally relevant teaching in public schools that serve African Americans. And the third issue that I wanted to address was the lack of an actual network between the public school and the Black community. In the Miseducation of the Negro, I had an amazing time conducting the research and doing the research. But the findings definitely had implications for the three critical areas that I initially set out to help solve. What I found out by doing this research is one, and the participants in the study basically drove this fact home. Teachers during the Jim Crow South, and especially the teachers at Riverview, they simply would not let you fail. They employed so many strategies. They provided a safe environment. It was an environment of hope. Many students testified that when they walked into their segregated school at Riverview, that they felt safe. They forgot about Jim Crow or the racism that was all around them in their towns and in their county. There were so many inspiring stories in this book. I will read a short segment. All of my participants in the book were given aliases, but one participant, these words that she pretty much shared, and this was Lorraine from the class of let me get it correct here. Lorraine from the class of 1967. You know, at the end of all the interviews, but this is basically what I took from one of the interviews, and this was Lorraine's. And she says, when you put Black and white children together, you can't just take time like Black teachers used to do us. First, set aside an hour to just talk about life. We lost that. No one gets to do that to them anymore. That's gone. But with integration came the better schools, with the computers, the labs, and all of those things that we didn't have. So the students had better opportunities. But that human element, that touch from that Black teacher to that Black child is gone. Being a mother of 3 African-American sons myself, and having lived all over the United States in various states, I know full well the importance of African-American children having Black teachers in the classroom. One of the things that I found out is that the Black teachers at Riverview provided an ethic of care that was out of this world. The ethic of care that they provided told Black students that they loved them. They treated Black kids like they were their own. So I wanted to use my writing. I wanted to use my history as an example to children everywhere, not just children, young adults, even adults. The theme this year is Black resistance in the past, the present, and the future. Black resistance in the past looked like Dr. King. It looked like Fannie Lou Hamer. It looked like Thurgood Marshall. It looked like Malcolm X. It looked like Nikki Giovanni. Black resistance comes in so many ways. Black resistance looked like Charles Drew, who founded, methods to help save people. Black resistance is so many different things. And in our present day, we are really faced with how we resist. And I hope that you will pick up ways to resist that are positive, ways that are strong, and ways that actually are productive. Sometimes you have to do more than march. Sometimes you have to do more than fight. Sometimes you have to do more than picket. Sometimes you have to write, and sometimes you actually have to get educated in order to be able to know what other avenues you can take as a Black American today. You really have to continually educate yourself. And that's not just formal education. That's informal. That's reading a book, reading the news, staying aware at all times. There's an old African proverb that focuses on the word Sankofa. Sankofa means that if you don't know where you've been, you will not know where you're going. Or in order to have a successful future, you must also know your past. So Sankofa, think of Sankofa in all things that you do. In terms of Black history, I am also, in addition to writing The Miseducation of the Negro, I have authored over 14 other titles. And probably my most famous collection of work is the trilogy collection, 28 Days of Poetry Celebrating Black History. If you have a chance, please pick up one or all of these books. It's a great set. I also edited and co-wrote several anthologies. My latest collection of poems was Mother to Son. In these books, I focus on the social issues of life, and I focus on Black history. In fact, in the third collection of 28 Days of Poetry, I opened the book with the title poem, What is Black History? It's the dirt road our forefathers trod, memories of their lives branded in our hearts. It's a word, a place, a state of mind. Black history is a peek into our ancestors' time. It is a piece of fabric our grandmothers wore, an old rope that our grandfathers lived to deplore. It is a slave ship and Middle Passage overseas. Black history is cotton fields and tobacco leaves. It is a plantation overseer and backdoor crumbs, a weeping and wailing, a beating of drums. It is a troubling truth and unapologetic past. Black history is an entire race struggling to last. It is a Mississippi burning in a Tennessee town, an evil that lingers to bring Black people down. It is a book or movie of strength, courage, and will. Black history is the fate of young Emmett Till. It is Little Ruby Bridges, the exquisite Ruby Dee, Carter G. Woodson, and Coretta Scott King. A Mahalia Jackson song, a Michael Jackson routine. Black history is the phrase, let freedom ring. It is Cheney University, the Tuskegee Airmen, the NAACP, the Black Holocaust Museum. It's a Navy master diver named Carl Brashear. Black history is our legacy of triumph without fear. It is General Colin Powell, a vaudeville drama, Zora Neale Hurston, and President Barack Obama. It is every single experience of our history. Black history is the story of you and me. Black history is the story of you and me. Each of us have a past, each of us have ancestors, and it is our duty to learn that past. We've heard of the Middle Passage, we've heard of and seen what actually happened with African Americans in this country, starting from 1619 until now. 400 years of systemic racism in America. We've come far, but the road is long. We've got to stand up and we've got to stay strong. So many people have left us the right tools, the right inspiration, the right hope to make it every day, to get up and to keep going every day. No matter where you go, we're going to face, as African Americans in this country, we are going to face racism. We're going to face discrimination. And the number one job is to teach our children how to meet that day, how to meet that challenge, how to defeat it, how to root out racism in their lives and in their societies. We cannot give up the fight. Never give up the fight. One of my favorite poets, Dr. Maya Angelou, wrote, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise." She goes on to say, just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, we rise. We're a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, we bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, we rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, we rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Those words ring true to me. And when I get up every day as an African American woman in America, I know that I have a responsibility. I am here but for the grace of God, and I am here because I stood on the shoulders of giants. I am here because I stood on the shoulders of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, elders, great-grandparents. I am here because I stood on the shoulders of people in my community, in my church, in my county, in my school. I am here because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Usually when I do these speaking engagements, we come together and we know that Black people's hope has been rooted in a God that we often cannot see, but that we can feel. That is the hope that we must carry into the future. That hope. The same God that got them through the Middle Passage and slavery and just decades and hundreds of years of turmoil, that same God is with us today. So as we move and have our being in this great nation, because it is a great nation, and it's a great nation because we help to make it great. As we move about this great nation, I want you to think about the sacrifices that other people made so that we could have a life. God, our ancestors, our parents. God, our ancestors, and our parents. People who don't have hope perish. If we don't have hope, we perish. Think about the theme of Black History Month this year, Black resistance. In what ways will you resist? Violence is not always the answer. And speaking of violence, the most atrocious violence has been visited upon Black people in America. Every day, every day, every day, I'm thinking of a Lucille Clifton poem where she says, every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Oh, won't you come celebrate with me? That every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. And I know we have lost many of our African American brothers and sisters to racism, to slavery, to systemic racism, to police brutality. We can never give up the fight. Never give up the fight. Come celebrate with us. Come celebrate Black people. Come celebrate our ancestors. Come celebrate this history that is strong and wide. Come celebrate this legacy that is yours. I don't know what families you're from. I don't even know, where you are in the world. But what I do know is that if you are an African American in America and in the world, you come from strong people. Hold on to that faith. Hold on to that hope. Stand up. Live to fight another day. Won't you come celebrate with me? That every day something has come to kill us and has failed. Bringing the gifts that our ancestors gave, we are the dream and the hope of the slave. Let us rise, let us rise, let us rise. Thank you.